What happens when majority of the population stops being able to afford the cost of living? Here in the US, I would like to think there would be a revolution. The working class will come together and overthrow our oligarchs. But that will never happen because half our population believes the red team is right and the other half believes the blue team is right. Both teams work for the oligarchs. We are living this now. The majority of Americans can't afford the cost of living now. The rich are creating false enemies. The flavor today is LGBTQ+, drag performers, book bans, and convincing people who aren't capable of critical thinking that these are important things to fight against. And they're buying it. Even though things are getting worse for them because of the economic policies the rich have imposed. As long as someone has it worse than them, they don't seem to notice how bad it is. Here in the US, I would like to think there would be a revolution. The working class will come together and overthrow our oligarchs. But that will never happen because half our population believes the red team is right and the other half believes the blue team is right. Both teams work for the oligarchs. We shall find out soon enough in the US. Why do you think the government is ramping up federal police budgets? Creating new police departments, Capitol Police going nationwide. Having the police militarized. Increasing the surveillance. Increasing the online censorship. Pressuring companies to take people offline. Expanding intelligence agencies' mandates. It's population control and anticipating what will happen in the coming decade. After the fall of the dollar and the collapse of the US empire that is coming. There is going to be major unrest, and instead of doing things to ease the suffering of the masses, they are preparing to control them. This is a bipartisan effort. By the way, which profession has the most arrogant people? Not technically a profession as a whole, but people with horses. Having horses myself and inevitably knowing and meeting others, I can quite honestly say they are some of the most egotistical, stuck-up people I've ever met. Working in the trades for years, I noticed that if you work in an office or basically do anything that makes you a good amount of money without physical labor, a good portion of tradesmen don't consider it a real job and will always act like they are a bit superior. I've also never seen an industry that prides itself on working yourself to death. As if it's some huge flex that I had to lay brick in the heat for 12 hours a day to pay bills. Music industry seems to have its share of utter asshats. National and international level professional sports too. Pretty much any industry that can take someone that came from very little and make them a celebrity that's a millionaire many times over will generate a decent percentage of socially terrible people. The money and gratification of being worshipped just goes to some people's heads in a super bad way. And they end up entitled and surrounded by yes men that never smack them upside the head when they really desperately need it. During my career, I started in engineering, went to IT, and became a manager with programmers, sales, and attorneys. During my study, I worked with builders. I have seen a lot of professions and all of them have very stubborn and arrogant people. Where attorneys can be arrogant, you can reason with them. Engineers and software programmers are smart. Most often the smartest of their family and not used in pointing out they can have it wrong. I had the most arrogant persons in software programming. What was the moment you realized you have to change your life and take responsibility for it? I've known this my whole life. My mom made sure we didn't go into the world naive. While working abroad, I went on a trip with a guy friend and realized that I was absolutely miserable during the vacation. At one point, I had this thought of if I could be alone, I could take care of myself to the max. At that moment, I left the hotel and went to the center of the city to a safe, secure Christian hostel. Trust me, you would have done the same thing. From that point on, I took responsibility of caring for myself and loving myself in the best way possible. Having a breakdown and blowing up my long-term relationship in life. I've lost pretty much everything important to me and will heavily regret it for the rest of my life. But am now trying to slowly build things and get myself back on track. Rock bottom. I have a problem with drugs. No one's gonna die in your place, or lose their house, or their money, or family, or dignity. You are. Sure. They'll feel bad for you. But at the end you're the one who's gonna have to eat it. And when I kept doing things to please people yet no one did it back. And when I mess up, I get the no one put a gun to your head answer. The moment I moved the last of my savings into my checking account to cover my rent. And realizing I had no more money. No job. No savings. No investments. And I was $170 in debt. I was always very irresponsible with my money, but that day was my rock bottom and I realized I had to get my shit together. That was 9 years ago. I'm now debt free with about $200 in savings/investments. It was really hard to dig myself out of that dark place, but it's been worth it. They just not get bloody noses? I have absolutely never had one and I am 44 years old. Nope. Never. My husband did as a kid. My daughter never did. My sister had a few. Never had one, and TBH the only person I know gets nosebleeds quite frequently is my sis. No one in the family gets them, so maybe it's not much of a genetics thing, nor my friend group. I've never had one either. I think it'd be sick if I did. Sounds disgusting. It's normal and common. The age range it mostly happens is with younger kids. And it tends to happen when the weather is dry, as it causes the walls in the nose to grow thinner and more prone to cracking and bleeding. But some people just naturally don't have them as much or at all unless blunt force is involved. So nah, it's normal. I'm 41. I've never had one. I've only seen my father have one from his high blood pressure. But I don't think I've ever witnessed anyone else have one.